Welcome back to another episode of the Currently Issue Podcast, and our subject today is population growth in developing countries.
For our first question, what are the actual engines behind population growth? Is it a rising birth rate, or is it actually a falling death rate thanks to better medicine?
I think as though it is because of a falling death rate due to the fact that the death rate isn't so high that people aren't having a lot of children, like 6 children. They're usually having 1 to 3.
I would agree. I would say definitely, as we talked about in the videos, like how we're at like stage 3 or 4, where the birth rates and the death rates are decreasing. They're like at a lower rate than they were, like, let's say a decade or 50 decades ago, or like 50 years ago. My bad, 50 decades ago. But yeah, and so since we have like more technology, people are living longer, but they're also having less kids, but they still die. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's due to falling death rates. Because if the people who are being born aren't dying soon enough, I think it keeps the population stable.
Yeah, I feel like people are dying less due to like more vaccines and cleaner water and stuff like that, and advancement in our medicine.
I think people are dying less, but I also think it's because of the birth rates.
Many developing nations have a youth bulge. What does a society look like when over 60% of its people are under the age of 30?
I would say it has a promising future because they like a lot, or not promising, but like a lot of those people are gonna mostly like live into their old ages. So even though they're young now, if a lot of them don't have kids, they're gonna end up going to like a gray, or like Japan is where like there's more old people than young people eventually.
I feel like it's gonna be a problem. Think about populations in schools. If there's a lot of people with a larger amount of youth, and there's not enough adults in the school setting to actually tend to these students, it's gonna cause chaos. Same thing for like jobs. When the students graduate from school, they wanna go into some sort of workforce at the end of the day, and they can't do that if there's not many opportunities open for them. So it's a matter of catering to the population as a whole. How is the infrastructure, like schools, hospitals, and housing, keeping up with the pace of the population? Where is the breaking point?
I feel like so far, since we're at like a somewhat stable population, it's able to barely keep up. But if, for instance, like another war were to happen, or like death rates were to increase and birth rates to increase, I don't feel like the current infrastructure would be able to handle it if we were to get like a sudden baby boom.
I agree. It's like the same thing with the whole classroom setting, like 80 students to a classroom and there's only the one teacher. You know, it's not functional.
Yeah, sometimes there's 30 kids in the classroom with only one teacher and no co-teacher.
They're barely even keeping up with the current population, so we're kind of already at the breaking point.
How do religion and tradition affect family size, and how can international groups help without being disrespectful? I feel like in a lot of cultures, a big family is common. Like it's a blessing to have a large family, and a lot of international aid will swoop in and be like, we'll stop having kids. And I feel like it shouldn't be just, stop having kids, but like meet them at like a certain level where it's like a compromise with each other and you can understand each other.
I think like religion, tradition unite people, and like you said, in some cultures it's normal to have big families, but in some cultures it isn't. So when international people or like other groups come, they kind of like marry to other people from different cultures, and they don't want to have kids, but the other person wants to have kids, or like their beliefs are different on family traditions.
I think, like they do have big families and stuff like that, but sometimes with the religion, like sometimes if you don't want to follow that religion, they'll kind of like disown you, so it kind of like separates them or whatever.
When we talk about population growth as a whole, it's often mentioned as a crisis. How do you feel about that? Like, is it really a problem, or is it just like?
I think it is a problem. Because as population grows, resources decline because there's not enough to feed or to give to the whole world. And that's not good, because if there's not enough resources, how are families supposed to thrive?
Well, I don't think it's a big issue now, because I haven't really been seeing much problems in my view, but that's only in my perspective because it's probably way worse in other areas. Like, well, I can't really say I can't say Israel or Iran because they just got, yeah, but probably worse in third world countries.
I feel like I agree it is a problem. Because like, for example, jobs, right? I've been trying to get a job for like ages now, but no one's hiring anymore because there's a lot of people who want to get a job as well. So the population being increasing is lessening our resources for people who are here already. So, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for watching this week's Currently Issued podcast. We'll see you on the next one.